Next recording of the SPOS, we're going to be following JacquesParenteau's Miss Nelly through the tournament. And they kind of went all out on the realistic historical approach. Really, really cool, pretty ships here. I've really enjoyed looking at the silhouettes in the distance. I mean, they even have walkable interiors, but we'll get to that in a second. So, here's the secondary batteries that we were seeing open up. I really love them. It just very proper. Slightly above the waterline, kind of below deck. It's exactly what you would expect to see in kind of old school cruisers. Blinding green lights, very important. Have three batteries of modest sized APS up on the deck. Excuse me. With some really just nice looking turret caps, a little bit on the small side, so vulnerable. Um, Tons of secondaries. In fact, most of this thing's firepower, as you can see from the top right, is in its simple weapons. They're also the lowest cost, lowest volume entries in the tournament. The Nell. Um, really appreciate the way they have the propellers kind of set up in the back. The propulsion kind of passes through. Um, but again, we'll get to that in a second. They even have like this nice little rudder section here. Very cool. Um, Nice deck. I mean, clearly, they were prepared for the aesthetics part. Look at this huge battery of these simple. Well, they're basically like flak 88s, right? They're lovely. Um, we have little kind of portholes and pass throughs, but like seriously, it's an entire walkable interior. We can go down below decks. Ignore the water. You know how it is. Performance. Actual flammable bloody coal piles. Engine room. I did muck with the engine just a little bit to make it harder to take it out in one piece. It used to be much larger and like a single engine, but they had this nice dual stage steam engine back in here, kind of split right down the center. Since it was already split, it was why I decided to make it fed by two different boilers for the most part. Like they had already done all the work. Just splitting this was a no-brainer. I did get permission from them to muck with their entry a little bit, and we'll be talking about that soon. But we've even got like a kind of like a reinforced ceiling. It's just really cool in here, man. Going down a little bit further, we've got some of our simple ammo. And then in here, they actually just have like a reinforced kind of command center for the AI. Again, you can just walk right by it. More of their ammo customizers go in here, and you can look inside the gun wells, walk through them, walk through each one. And I mean, talk about walkable. You can even walk up into the front of the ship where there's just a buoyancy chamber. Really, really freaking cool, man. Um, Kind of smaller APS shells, if we're going to be honest. It looks like they went with dual stacked zero clip 3 meters instead of the maximum allowed. Going to give them a little bit more fire rate, but there's drawbacks to going with smaller shells. Um, I don't think we went through quite everything on the walkable side. So this was kind of the below decks. Now we're midship, back above deck again, cross thatched. Um, Really nice looking aesthetically. Walls here. Just kind of a smaller little midship deck here. We go up, we've got a little extra kind of lookout tower. We're starting to get on the deck proper. Accessible again from the outside, ladders and all. And we can move up to the very top where we've got another walkable area. You can walk around the smokestack, which does have a little bit of extra visual detection on it. Speaking of which, they've got this really vulnerable but really cool slanted detection tower. And we finally have our proper command center up here. Like, just so cool. It even, it has it's got front-facing detection. Who knows why, but I love it. Yeah, just really cool. And as we can see, I got in touch with Jacques and asked, since they were only around, 250,000, can I enter 2 of these? And they said, do what you want. So I trimmed them down a little bit volume-wise and a little bit cost-wise, and Miss Nell is going to be a dual entry, where 2 Miss Nellies are going to be fighting each individual ship. It only seems fair. They have basically a 50% armor cost. They're mostly an aesthetic build, and they did a fantastic job at that. Usually multi-entries, the lack of cost and the nature of from the depth scaling, where it scales aggressively on volume. All weapons scale exponentially on volume for the most part. Your armor scales massively based on thickness. Everything, engine power, you name it, it's better, bigger. And it's a lot better, bigger. So Nell's basically going to be going into this with an advantage of 15-20% in terms of cost, but with about the same firepower as everyone else. Plus, multi-entries are always just fun to watch. The torpedoes did struggle a little bit with Miss Nell. Well, looks like she's just targeting the planes right now. So I did take some liberties with the torpedoes to help them hit. All still within the rules of the tournament. I just took advantage of some very goofy ways that one-turns interact with different firing settings to make them a little bit more likely to hit. No sonars, they're not guided. This is just the kind of silly bullshit you can pull off in this game. Gotta love it. So it looks like Nelly of Team Whoa Nelly is already down to 65% firepower. I'm going to assume, yeah, that's this one. All of its turrets have been popped. Or had just the... Those have been popped. Those have not just been neck sniped. Those are dead. Now getting hammered by Muse torpedoes, which continue to be the most impressive ones in the tournament by far. Miss Nell has decided to turn into herself and might bonk. Oop, starting to lose turrets on the Whoa portion of the Whoa Nelly team. Mew, your torpedoes are so on point, dude. Like, good shit. Bonk! From the depths, collision avoidance. Never fails to impress, I tell you what. It looks like Team Whoa Nelly is very, very interested in killing this plane. It's not going great. It's a very wiggly plane. Guys. So yeah, within the first match, let's dispel some of the any of the negative feelings people might be having about potential unfairness in a double match. This is for fun. We're having fun. Also, this Nell is so on fire. So on fire. I mean, God, it is really trying to light that poor plane up, but like, it's just not going well for it. How much damage are these torpedoes doing? Because Miss Nell, another thing is it's got a really nice thick torpedo belt, which does seem to be doing its purpose. Unfortunately, we are starting to sink. Damn. These really do have kind of like destroyer armaments and silhouette, which is it's interesting. They, again, it's heavy fighter looking a little bit heavier than it would probably like. Oh, there it goes. Most of the ships in this tournament defy my capacity and skill for trying to sort them. They just don't fit neatly into any category. So I'm going to keep guessing. These look like a mix between a cruiser and a destroyer. We might get an aggressive maneuver. Unfortunately, Mew's ship seems to be much heavier. Wildly unfortunate for Miss Nell. It was a good Hail Mary. We're also going to be judging Miss Nell. Oh, Whoa is dead. Which one that is, we'll find out in a second. Is it the one that rammed? No, I think it's this one that's capsizing. Nope. Called that wrong. Did I call it wrong? Game says it's despawning things. I did not call it wrong. We can see finally that the blocks are popping out. Alright. So the first round goes to Mew. Alright, next up, Sam's Colossus. Looks like Team Whoa Nelly deciding to target the actual enemy craft a little bit more aggressively this time. Solid decision, solid decision. Ooh, we did lose a turret. The Hydra, really fantastic at taking out other people's armaments, man. Like, this is a nasty little craft. I do love the way the torpedoes came out. It's interesting that the Miss Nelly has been largely choosing... Oh dear, did we immediately lose a rudder? No. No, we did not. It's just... really... not wanting to, stay in the combat area for some reason. We are far away. Hopefully turns in before it starts getting DQ points. Oh, it's selected the plane. I see. The AI believes it's in combat with the plane. But the guns are shooting at the Hydra. From the depths. Looks like the other Miss Nell has also decided that it wants to fight the plane. So, on the bright side, that does mean that the Hydra is most likely to start closing in on these two. If it's not engine dead. It is not. Okay. It's moved. We're good. Nelly down to 59% firepower. Whoa is still at a solid 84%. Turned this into a very long range engagement. The longest range engagement, I think, in the tournament so far, actually. Kind of cool to see one of the Miss Nells getting lit up from over here, sending out secondary batteries way into the distance. And missing. Boy, the splashdown on those, you can, oh god. YouTube compression's probably gonna kill it, but they are not close, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, those were a little better. You could kind of see the splashes going in. Let's follow some of them. You can see the batteries kind of closing in. This is just the native inaccuracy of casement. They struggle, especially at distances. And this has got to be at least like 2,500 meters out. Honestly, the fact that we're hitting every once in a while, and you can tell we are because we have fires, really impressive. We're even starting to kind of chew through the outer layers of Sam's heavy cruiser, super destroyer. Guys, I'm struggling. I don't know what to call most of these ships. It does look like we've completely destroyed its superstructure. So in the battle of superstructure, Whoa Nelly, we are very much in the lead. Still has some of these type. Are they 97? Is that what they're called in the game? Type 37, type 97. I didn't realize they fired this quickly. Look at them go. Huh. I'm not gonna lie, I thought these things fired slowly. This is, oh, well, that one fires extremely slowly now. Alright, well, going into the remaining firepower, %71% versus 92%. Yeah, okay, so that's actually a win for the Hydra still. Next up, the Colossus Broadsider, which should be kind of interesting. If Miss Nell gets around to the far side, which it's been kind of struggling with, it might just choose to chase the plane. Who knows? This is from the depths. Nothing makes sense and the points don't matter. But if it gets to the other side, it might actually be a distinct disadvantage since this is a broadsider battleship. And I'm kind of rooting for that to happen because it would be really cool to watch. Look at those torpedoes, Snake. Who knows what they were going for? Aggressive one turns with a delay and then default missile guidance. Thing of beauty. No, it looks like, oh, we might actually do it. We might actually go side to side here. Oop, oop, oop. Ah, okay, one of them hit. It's really going to depend on whether or not the other Nell considers itself fighting the unarmed spy plane or the Colossus. Colossus has chunked quite a lot of firepower off of Miss Nelly's team. And it does look like it's been able to fire with both broadsides for the first time in the tournament. Oh, that's freaking cool. You know, it's starting to get chipped away a little bit here. We've got some holes showing up. Miss Nell's secondary batteries and the casemates slowly starting to chew away. at the Colossus. And, you know, because of it being a broadsider in nature, it's really difficult to hit the Colossus and not basically be hitting a gun. It is really cool that we keep getting to open up with these suckers, though. Especially after how many rounds things just slightly didn't work out for it. Oh, it looks like the Nell's turning the other side to... Okay, one has decided that it is fighting the plane. What can you do? Those torpedoes, not even going to call them a near miss. Compliment they did not earn. Unfortunately, it looks like the Colossus is going to be turning its more weathered, less armed side towards both of the Nells. Ooh, there went a torpedo hit. Nice. One missed. 2 hits there. For whatever reason, there have not been many APS sound effects. I don't know what's going on with that. It might be because of how many weapons are firing that the game is just completely quashing the APS firing sound effects. It's hard to say with this game, guys, so bear with me. I'm sorry. The lack of satisfying, big booming sounds this recording session. That's really gonna hurt. Colossus slightly behind in HP, about 10% ahead in firepower, and we can see why. We've lost multiple turrets here. Again, oh no, I think these were neck snipes. Yeah, those are mostly intact. Downsides of having realistic-ish, wow. Firing pieces just barely escaping death there. I'm not going to count if the Colossus disqualifies here because it's not its fault. So we're going to stop it. Now, Team Nell is going to be facing off against the Emperor. Ooh, those were some early cram firing. You know, largely hit. Didn't hit anywhere particularly important, but they didn't miss. So that's huge. It's going to be very interesting to going for the superstructure tower there. Or the big detection tower. Oh, look at this. It's splitting firepower. That's pretty cool. Oh, look at it chunking. Uh-oh, we can see the gun. That's not good. There it went. Damn, that's fucking cool. I really like these swervy torpedoes. It's a good time. See, they have these non-turreted torpedoes built into the actual hull, and it just it made a lot of sense to try to do it like this so that they can always fire. And yeah, look at this. They snake and they can just, oh god, get it. Very close, but not quite. The Nells seem to have absolutely no regard for their own safety and are enjoying being ramming vehicles. They have collision avoidance turned on. I don't know what to say. This ram has not gone in Miss Nelly's favor, is something I can definitely say. Had a big detonation there. cram components, though. That's not what you like to see. This Nell has just been taking, oh my god, so much punishment. I don't know how many guns are actually left on this. Looks like it's mostly simple weapons. Probably mostly simple weapons on the other... No, definitely not on the other side. They're on this side. Okay. Some serious anger at the superstructure there. Looks like we are swapping targets. Starting to list a little bit after that bit of less than advised aggressive maneuvering from the Nells. Ooh, had a big detonation somewhere. Not sure where. Looks like these torpedoes, ooh, just barely missed. Hitting in the back though. Potentially damaging a turret? No, not quite. This one is Fubar though. Very close. Oh, and there went the whole thing. A lot of health to lose there. Got a minute left. I don't know why we're targeting superstructure aggressively. Okay, there we go. There's some nice meaningful hits. God, just chewing away. I'm amazed that gun did not die to incendiary there. It really looked like it should have. Very interesting to watch the firepower get split like this. God, the torpedoes just swerving all over the place. Does look like these are going to be good. The Nells have decided to aggressively cuddle each other. The Emperor getting in on the cuddles. I think we have what's known as a cuddle puddle initiating here. The Nells have combined their mass, and now the Emperor is losing its collision. Fascinating. Okay, time for Fish's Scourge of Iron to face the terrible twosome that is the Nell Dewsome. This will be very interesting, again, if... Ooh. Yeah, I wish I knew why so many of the crams missed from the Scourge. But, it did rip up the exterior pretty bad there. If the Nells circle around and let it... No, they're not going to. It's too good at turning, and the Nells are too insistent on trying to ram for no reason. Ooh, that's so close. You know what? Actually, if this Nell turns in, we might get double broadside action. God, you are such a swervy little bastard. Oh my god. Whoa has lost 67% firepower. Maybe the APS getting some nice torpedoes hit there. In fact, these torpedoes are kind of... Look at the crams just stream in and rip a hole into Nelly. Oh, I do love your craft, Fish. This thing's amazing. It doesn't look like it's ever going to line up another broadside against the other Nell. Nell deciding to hit itself with its torpedoes somehow. Don't turn that direction. Miss Nell will see your inch and take a mile. It went straight through. It carved straight through. Yeah. Amazing, man. What awesome firepower. I'm really concerned about that happening. We look, yep, dead in the water. God, that's unfortunate. This now also dead in the water. I think that literally just burrowed through and cored out the entire engine room. Yeah, there's just nothing left. Amazing, man. I don't know why you're targeting the engine. What is with your lights, Jacques? Good lord, man. Scourge looking questionable here. Plenty of crams-ish. The hell did that bounce on? Starting to lose, maybe, firepower? Yes, I think the components... No, they're down here. So we would actually be losing connection pieces. I have never seen this thing start to flip like this. The torpedo's really starting to be exceedingly accurate here. Wow. I see. The Nell approaching from the rear has just been shredding. That's why the buoyancy is so fucked up. Oh, well, whatever just happened, I guess the game decided it's not that way anymore. Cool. Yeah, you know, if it had circled onto the other side and eaten the other broadside, from the depths, recalculating buoyancy again. Dude, this game. What a mess. Lot of torpedo hits starting to stack up now. There we go. All right, there's actually a fair number of crams still alive. Friendly fire! What a weird fight. Oh, the Scourge is 100% sinking. Oh, and it's AI dead. Ah, okay. For the sake of myself and everyone else's sanity, I'm going to forego spawning in my spy plane. I don't feel like chasing it across the world. Are these? Actually, yes. 2 of them did hit. This is interesting. I have no idea how this is going to go. Simple weapons still have firepower, and like a lot of redundant firepower. The Big Jeep has plenty of wood, plenty of stone. It's possible that that Team Nelly just kind of wears it down. It's just going to have its guns survive, which this one has already lost one. had another near ram encounter. I am so green. The Nellies are already down to 65% firepower. They're just getting hammered, it seems. This one might be dead in the water. No, it's moving. No. Yes. Okay, that was an ammo detonation. Tricked me for a second there. Big Cheap is exploding as it's prone to do. Although I think that was an explosion on Nelly's side. Damn. A lot of hatred, a lot of damage going out here. This smells kind of looking sketchy. I don't know if it might capsize, but it does not look like it's able to really bring any firepower to bear anymore. Meanwhile, this Nell's weathering the storm fairly well. Kind of cool that they've got it surrounded like this. This is what I was hoping to see. Very cinematic, very appropriate. Ooh, I think this one just went dead in the water. Yes. Oh, well, that would do it. That would do it. It's hard to say how many guns are left. Looks like most of the torpedoes are dead on the Big Cheap. It's largely turned its attention back to the other one, which seems to have decided it's not capsizing after all. Somehow, Big Cheap still mobile. Well, not somehow. That thing has more fucking propellers. It is very resistant to going propulsion dead. Looks like most of the firepower remaining on the Big Cheap seems to be cram. Yeah, definitely not many missiles. There may only be... Oh no, there's a couple. Nelly looking capsizing again. Kinda, sorta, maybe trying for a ram. Oh, it is starting to look very ripped up. Armor kind of everywhere, just failing it now. Oh, I think that, yeah, that engine has officially caught fire. I do believe both Nells are dead in the water. Starting to really fall behind in the hit point war too. This one would probably eventually DQ from distance, I would think. In any case, it looks like that goes to the Big Cheap, but it was very close. Next up, we're going up against Kevin Try's Onyx Watch Battleship, which I have taken the liberty of removing the aim point spoofing from in the tower. There's still wood blocks up there, but they are all 4 or 3 meter. In this case, it should actually help it, since each of those blocks counts as a hit point towards the percentage of your remaining health. And they would probably get stripped away pretty quick by these boats. Miss Nell immediately turning in and causing the Onyx Watch build to run. It's not working out well for it because it has very, very little armor in the front to protect its turrets. These ships never want to approach. They're 100% broadsiders all day long. I did not touch the AI, so this is just as they were sent in. Unfortunately, every single one of the guns already stripped away from this Nell. If I had to guess, the shells, and there are a lot of them, just, yep, punched holes straight through. The other one does seem to be closing in response to it running away. Turret restrictions are keeping this from firing. Looks like we've lost a turret here as well due to our decision to approach. Down to 68% firepower. The Z-41 has taken a reasonable amount of damage. Yeah. Looks like, actually, you know, we're starting to do a little something. Whether or not it's going to be enough is very much up in the air. Going to be very difficult without basically any primary firepower left. And also, if they want to get in front of or ram each other, it's going to make life very, very difficult for poor Team Nelly. Yep, they, I don't know if they have a hard programmed sine wave to try to avoid crams or something in their PIDs, but this is what happens when you do that. Your ships are not able to avoid collisions because they can't actually wayfind. I don't know if that is the case here, but it is one of the drawbacks. Still a ton of firepower coming in from the Z-41. It's also possible that the default response width of like 5-ish just is causing this behavior by itself due to the weight of the ships or the rudders. There's so many stupid little things that can go on with from the depths AI and maneuvering, which makes it functionally unable to avoid collisions. Oh man, the rounds are officially passing through one Miss Nelly into the other. That is, yeah. The Paper Tiger build here from Kevin Try, this Z-41, absolutely more than up to the task. It, with just how many rounds it has and how many turrets it has, gives it a serious distinct advantage against two smaller builds. The sheer level of firepower. Yeah, one Nell's AI dead. And it is now the other's turn to weather 100% of the anger from the Z-41. Look at all those incoming rounds. That's really cool to watch it firing in the distance, though, actually. That's firing over the corpse of the other Nell. You know, honestly, that feels very thematically appropriate for an Onyx Watch ship. Way in the distance, bombarding like this. And now it's time for the angry hole punch of redundancy, the Sporka, to go up against the Nell twins. First round of hybrid missile torpedoes, mostly hitting actually. Did I put magnets on these? I think the torpedoes do have magnets, actually. Yeah. Oh, that was really funny of me. Nell's already down to 85% firepower. Does look like they are going in for a very quick surround. Going to bring their full broadsides to bear against both sides of the strange shrimp thing. Serious miss on the torpedo volley there. Looks like we've already lost 2 of our main armaments on this Nelly. Let's check in on the other one. I see 3 turrets up on this. That must mean that most of the firepower lost on this one has been secondaries, and that turret now mostly missing with the missiles. Very interesting. I'm not sure why that's happening. So least accurate we've seen them be from the Sporka. Honestly, basically tied in health right now. The Nells are going to be crossing each other and interfering with their own lines of sight here very soon. That is not what you want to see. That turret has now officially been completely carved away. Are they aiming for the one behind it or something? Hard to say. Looks like those did hit. Took a nice big chunk out. Real thick armor on these girls though, so... Oh, that was still enough to get through and kill the engine. Oh shit. Well, not kill it, but damage it. Nasty, nasty fucking missile torpedoes. Ooh. Big explosion from this Miss Nell. Yup, and the other turret has officially gone up. The angry APS energy starting to do its due and really chew away here. Looks like it's going to be another near miss. Frag's going straight through Miss Nell there from that torpedo volley. For reasons unknown to anyone, the Sporka is turning in and attempting to ram itself. Looks like it's going to fail. Speaking of fail, point-blank missiles missing. Both Nells chewed up, down to 50% firepower. Those missiles are going to hit. We have had another explosion somewhere. Oh, God. Yeah, God, those torpedoes, they just, they chew right through the blocks they're aimed at. Looks like the Sporka is going to leave it to Miss Nell for her to turn in. I don't know if she's up to the task. She has no rudder. It does look like she has differential thrust though, so she may be able to. Let's take a look at the other one, check in on her, see how she's doing. Down to 40% firepower now. You okay, bud? Nope. Lot of firepower still coming in. At this range, short-range missile or otherwise, they are almost guaranteed not to make contact. Yeah, just too far away. But we are starting to see daylight through the frame of Miss Nell. Too much sustained firepower for craft this heavily armor-based. The other Nell was not able to turn in time. Missiles starting to genuinely just carve straight through this Nell. Alright. Gonna be going up against Laser and Kevin's Serenade. I have no idea how this is going to go, but there is a lot of firepower on the Serenade. A lot of very angry firepower. Depending on where aim point elects to shoot, that could be seriously bad news. Looks like the Serenade's already starting to empty out its zero clip. Or a turret was gone, or has gone up. It's hard to say which. Miss Nell already taking an extremely aggressive stance. Seems to want to body check the Serenade. The Serenade does not seem to want a part of it. Whether or not they'll be able to avoid this, I have no idea. Honestly, coming in close, I don't think is the call against this particular craft. Yeah, man. Hemorrhaging firepower from Team Nelly. So much fire going on both crafts. I don't know if these guns are internally still intact. Damaged, but alive. The other seems to have lost at least one of its main batteries. A great deal of its secondaries. Looks like the zero clip has completely expended itself on the Serenade. Getting some detonations now, too. And we are tied in health. Very interesting. The firing restrictions on this third turret, meaning that Miss Nell cannot quite bring her full surviving firepower to bear against the Serenade, which is currently just ripping into the sister ship. Looks like we only have one surviving main battery. Plenty of secondaries, though. Serenade starting to take the lead in health. Oh, there went a turret cap. We may have lost the one-turn component of our missiles on the right-hand side. They no longer seem to be turning towards the enemy at all. No, they're kind of going. I think it's just the weird snaking pattern that we're having here. The interaction between three ships that's kind of throwing them off. Looks like the Serenade has largely shifted fire to the other Nelly. You can tell because it is on fire. It is very on fire. It does have a beautiful wood deck, which is currently being roasted away. Starting to get close enough. The torpedoes from Nell are getting very close. Although it looks like we're going to get some friendly fire. Boy, this is the World of Warships classic. If you didn't want to get hit by torpedoes, you shouldn't have been on the other side of that ship. What were you thinking? Ooh, near miss there. We might have the Miss Nell special going on here. Bonk, 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 bonk. Oh, man. That collision is not working out for Nell. The Serenade is so much heavier. Oh boy, that really stripped some blocks off of Miss Nelly. We have firepower parity at the moment, which is fucking wild. Alright. Health-wise, that absolutely went to the Serenade. And the final test for the for Team Nelly is going to be Mecha's Fafnir. Very, very not certain how this is going to go. It's going to depend on rams, torpedoes, this turret immediately getting popped. How are we looking with the Nell that has chosen to close? Please turn out. You do not want the front of your ship facing it. Oh, we have some torpedo hits on the rear of the Fafnir. Could be very interesting if it ends up propulsion dead. Oof. Those just barely missed. Also don't want to be this close range. Fafnir's torpedoes getting a hit in. Very nice. There's a lot of firepower going towards the center of Miss Nell. That might be an AI death in the making. Yeah, the AI is right in here. We are dangerously close to being AI dead. Oh, seems to have switched to the engine. It very may well dig through too. Not quite yet. Interesting. Fafnir definitely targeting an interesting set of blocks here. The other Nell is on the far side of it looks like. I love watching the secondaries just kind of converge and cross. It's really freaking cool. Getting in close like this, Nell is more likely to score some torpedo hits. There have been a fair number on the rear of the Fafnir, and while it's able to turn, it's looking very slow. I don't know if its propulsion dead, but its propulsion is looking damaged. Oh no, don't turn in. You don't want this. We may switch broadsides here. It's so freaking cool how this ship can put torpedoes directly in front of itself from the side. They missed, but really cool. Looks cool as hell. Nice hits from the Fafnir's torpedoes there. Almost getting the propulsion on the Fafnir again. Actual railings getting blown off there. Something you don't see often. Really close in firepower? Oh, not anymore. It looks like the Miss Nell that was very close to an AI death finally got hit. Yeah. The whole AI compartment is now empty. Just got the one Nell, lots of secondaries left. The Fafnir looking mostly dead in the water. This Nell has plenty of health left, about half of its firepower. 30 seconds left on the clock. Although we are ending up... We're starting to look scary for another AI death potential here. Oh, engine's gone. Probably chewed in through here. All right, and that goes to the Fafnir. Really close, though. Okay. Another set of runs through. The Nels did score a couple of wins, lots of close fights, lots of from the depths moments. I did test a little bit with this beforehand. Gotta be honest, didn't have a single ram. Uh, the matches went completely differently. Uh, this is one hell of a game.